Good morning, guys. For all the online students, I'm just telling you, I already warned you, don't share the meeting IDs in the group. Your job is to learn. Don't share your IDs. You're not an administrator. If you want to become an administrator, just to stop your classes and come here, I'll give you a job of administrator. Do your work. Why do you come in between? Who are you to share? The group is created only for posting your questions. Don't share meeting IDs and all the things there. Next time you'll be blocked. You will not be able to attend the classes again. I clearly said to you everyone. And again you're sharing the meeting IDs in the group. I close the group so that you will not be able to share the questions also. You have some common sense, huh? What to share and what not to share. So for your convenience, I'm just creating these groups and you're doing all the nonsense. Okay. Right. So last day, we have been talking about working with Visual Studio, right? So I just been explaining you guys like the latest version of Visual Studio is Visual Studio 2022. And yeah, 2 new features they just introduced for you in the March 2022. What is that? C#. First one is like we call it a top level element. We don't require to write class code there. We don't require to write the class straight away. Class is defined for you automatically. Straight away class is defined for you automatically. Simply write console.writeLine. Okay. So you can just say when you go for selecting the .NET 6. When you go for selecting .NET 6, see this action will create a file. This action will create the project with a file, and the name is program.cs, which contains the below coordinate. What is that? And guys, there is an article here. There is a link here. Okay, there is an article. There is a link there. All of you, if you click on the link, it will show you the features of C#10. It's Microsoft link. If you click on that, it will show you the features of C#10. Yesterday you created a project within first project, no? Right? See, next time when you want to open the project, okay. Today we want to open the project. We don't require to go for a new project and all. You can open the existing project. In the left-hand side, the recently used projects list will come. In the left-hand side, the recently used project list will come. You simply select that project from that list. Okay, now? Yeah, this is what I'm telling you. Just use this link, all of you. If you click on that link, it will take you to the Microsoft.com and .NET 6 C# console app template generator. .NET 6. Then nothing but the latest version of the C#, that is C#10. It will give you that option. See, starting with the .NET 6, the project template for new C# console application generates the following code. What it generates now? Just only this line, that's all. Okay, the new output uses recent C# features that simplify the code you need to write for a program. .NET 5 and earlier version, the console application template generates the following code. I shown you 5 also, remember? In the 5 I shown you, this is what it generates to you. I opened that project also shown you. This is what it generates to you. Namespace name, actual namespace depends on the project name. I showed you yesterday I opened 2 projects. One is first project, one is second project. Second project is created, first project is created in .NET 6, means C#10. Second project is created in .NET 5, means C#9. C#9. Okay now? .NET 6 is C#10. .NET 5 is C#9. And this is going to create you a class like this. Okay? So for your understanding, see, these 2 forms represent, just a minute, I'll copy and see. Okay, these two forms represents the same program. Both are same only, guys. Both are valid with C#10. Both are valid with C#10. But first one is not valid with C#9. With C#9, first one will not work. First one is top level element. What I used? Only a single line. That's not valid in 9. Both are valid with C#10. When you use the newer version, you only need to write the body of the main method. The compiler synthesizes a program class with a main method and places all your top level statements in the main method. It means what is telling, you write one line, but the compiler will change the code into a class. Means, look. This is what you have written now. This is how the compiler will regenerate. This is how the compiler will regenerate for you. This is the code what the compiler will regenerate for you. You simply write your hello world and layout and the compiler will generate this code. That's what it is telling. See? Both are valid. When you use the newer version, you only need to write the body of the main method. The compiler synthesizes a program class with a main method and places all your top level statements in the main method. You don't need to include the other program elements. The compiler generates them for you. The compiler generates. You can learn more about the code the compiler generates when we use top level elements in an article of top level elements in the C# guide. So it's telling if you want to learn more, it has given you all the things here. You can go through the article. Okay. So just make a habit of reading the documentation. Understood my point here? Make a habit of reading the documentation. If you read the documentation, you will just understand the things. You have two options to work with tutorials based on use the new program styling code. Just a second. Read this. Oh, sorry. Do not copy this. You have two options to work with tutorials that have not been updated to use .NET 6 templates. Use the new program style, adding new top level elements, add your as you add features, convert the new feature style to the old as well with the program class and main method. If you want to use the new one, guys. If you want to use the new one, use the new one, or otherwise change it to old style. Change to old style. Shall we change to old style now? How to change to old style? Using system. Next. Here namespace will come. Compulsory namespace will come. Namespace. What's the namespace? Project name. What's the project name? First project. Namespace, first project. What next? Class. Class. Program. Static void main. By default, it will take this. Not mandatory, you already know that. And last class will explain you what we use of it also. String X. And now, this statement will be coming into this. This is all will be generated by who? Compiler. Compiler generates. You don't require. You can just only simply say console.writeline hello world. That's a new feature that has been introduced in C# 10.0. Okay. So here I mentioned you this. Have a look. Read this. This is a new feature in C# 10.0. We don't require to define a class and main method explicitly, which means the code we write in the file will directly execute as if the code we write in a main method. In the above code, first line is a comment and the second line is a write line statement to print output on the monitor. Whereas if we create the project by choosing framework as .NET 5.2 current, then it is C#9. And up to this version, defining a class and main method is mandatory to run the code. So we find code in program.cs file as below. You will be finding the code in the program.cs file as below. Okay, just a second there. You'll find it like this. How? System namespace. What is the namespace name? And don't forget, your namespace name is always your project name. Last class I said you are one thing, well, project is a family. All the classes are members of the family. and all the members of the family will have a surname, and that surname is always your family name only, and we are calling it as a name space here. Okay, first project. Internal class program. What is it? Internal class program. Actually, public, private, public. Public means global, guys. You can access it from anywhere you want. Private. Private means is accessible only in the program. Only in that program. Internal means accessible in the whole project. Internal means accessible in the whole project. Today, this is the first class you define. But by end of our object-oriented programming, we'll be having some 50, 60 classes in the project. By end of our object-oriented programming, we'll be having some 50, 60 classes in our project. In all the projects, you can consume that class. Which class? Program class. That is what internal is. And don't forget, the default scope of a class in C# is internal. Even if you don't write that also, that is internal only. Did you catch my point or not? Even if you don't write that also, that is internal only. That is internal only by default. I don't write anything. Then also it is internal. If I write it also, it is internal. You write or don't write doesn't matter. That is internal only. Default state is internal. If you just work with older versions of the Visual Studio, you are working with the latest version of the Visual Studio. Suppose you open the older version of the Visual Studio 2019. Suppose you won't see that internal at all. You won't see the internal, but then also it is internal only. Am I clear, all of you? Okay, that's what internal. Internal means what is the scope I said here? Within the project. Within the project. Don't forget also. In object-oriented programming, I'll tell you about all scopes. Public, private, internal, protected, internal, private, protected. We have different options available. I'll teach you all. The default is internal. Don't forget, default is not private. Default is internal. You'll have doubt. Sir, earlier you said private. I said your member scope default is private. Class scope default is internal. Member scope default is private. What is member scope? I declare a field in the class here. I declare a field in the class. That is private. Means, see, I said int x is equals to 100. This is private. Are you clear? Class is different, member is different. Member is a part of the class. Member is a part of the class. It's a part of the class. Class scope is always internal. Member scope is always private. Provided you did not specify anything. You write public, I give a public only. Then the private will come when I don't specify any scope. Okay? Yeah. So this is how it generates the code for you. Hold on. Starting with the .NET 6, which version? C#10. Yeah. This action will create a project with a file and the name file program.cs and which contains the below code in it. Yeah, I was mentioned up there also. So starting with .NET 6, the project template for new C# Control application generates the following code in the program.cs file. You will be finding the following code in the program.cs file basically. So this is the code which is. Are you clear? And here mentioned, there is a new feature in C#10. There is a new feature basically in the C#10 version. Okay? And one more, this paragraph also I just want to add you up in the notes. Yes, if I make modifications, I will update that over there, and don't worry. Okay. Yeah. The above two part represents the same program, Okay. Both are valid with C# 10.0. When you use the newer version, you will only need to write the body of the main method. The compiler synthesizes a program class with a main method and places all the top level statements in the main method. Okay. You don't need to include the other program elements. The compiler generates them for you. The compiler will generate everything for you. Okay. So this is the first feature of C# 10, guys. This is the first feature of C# 10. This is the first feature. Second feature. What is the second feature, you know? The second feature of C# 10 is, hold on, guys. Okay. The second feature is global imports. I was giving an introduction to you about that in the last class, remember? Global imports. What are global imports? You don't require to import them in all the files. Still now in the notepad, you are defined at least some 15 classes. Array, using notepad till now, did you define at least 15 classes? In every class, you are written using system on the top of the file or not? Multiple times. One namespace. Today, like tomorrow, in the going forward, you will be importing multiple namespaces where we are still only basics. But when you go to advanced features, database programming, file handling, we'll be importing multiple namespaces, not like one single namespace. So for every time you should write using namespace name, that looks lengthy. That just looks lengthy. I'll show you an old project. Watch. Which is created in .NET framework, not core. We are learning core now, right? Old version. That is the .NET framework. If you observe this, is a old project, guys. A framework project. This is. Watch this. You require to keep on importing the statements like this. So how many imports are there? System. System dot collections dot generic link. System dot web. System dot web dot UI. System dot web dot UI dot web controls. These are various namespaces. And I'm consuming all these libraries in my code now. So I need to write, not in one file, guys. I need to write this in all my files. So, array, again and again typing, yes or not, and also that impacts the size. Array, more the code, more the size of your application also. So to reduce all these things, as I said, Microsoft has to do this long back only. They done it very late. In 10 they introduced the concept. What is it? Global imports. If you write this in one file, if you write all this code in one file, you can consume it in the whole project. You can consume it in the whole project. In the whole project, we just have the option to consume them. That is the second feature that has been introduced for you in C# 10.0. What we call global imports. What to say now? Global using system. Now, in the rest of my classes, I don't require to say using system again. Straight away, I can write console dot write line. Straight away, I can say console dot write line. Are you clearer or not? Now tell me, this is my first part. Do I require to write using system in my first file or not required? Come on, your answer. What I'm telling you, don't be lazy. This is my first file. This is my first file, first class. Do I need to write it here or not required? Why? Why? Is it the first file, no? First file required or not required? First file required, no? At least in one file, if you don't write, how will it work? Yes or not? At least in one file, if you don't write, how will it work? Yeah, it won't work. At least in one file, you should write there. Otherwise, the feature will not work. Clear? So I am removing this. I am removing this. But even though I remove this and execute, let's see the output, whether I get any error or not, let's see. Because this is only my first file. I did not write here also. And the code executed. Hey, first file also you did not write. How is it executing, sir? Because by default, Microsoft has created one file for you already. And it has imported everything in that already. Did you get my point or not? Already there is another separate file and that is already imported. That is already imported for you. Understood my point or not? Okay. So just a second. That file won't be visible to you by default. Actually, that file is available, but that file you can't see by default. It doesn't show you that file here by default. Just a minute. I'll tell you how you can see that. What you do is, open the Solution Explorer. I'll not tell you about this one. I'll tell you. I'll just explain about this one. In the studio, guys, in the studio, to manage your project settings, we are provided with one window called as Solution Explorer. We are provided with a window called as Solution Explorer. This Solution Explorer will be in the right-hand side of the studio. It will be on the right-hand side of the studio and has the feature of auto hiding. It has a feature of auto hiding. If you see, can you see that in the corner, guys? Solution Explorer. Are you clear? When you put your mouse on that, automatically that pops out. This is called as Solution Explorer. And this is your project. And this is your class. Are you clear? Do you want to add a new class in the project? Tell me. From here only you should do. I want to delete a class in the project. I want to add a class in the project. I want to see the contents of the project. Everything will see from this location only. We call this as Solution Explorer. This is a Solution Explorer basically. Okay. So it's very light. Just a minute. I'll change the theme of it here. Is it clear? All of you, sitting in the back. Okay? So this is the Solution Explorer. You'll find it in the right hand side corner. If you don't find it there, don't panic. Go to View menu, and in the View menu, you'll find the option Solution Explorer. You'll find up all the options here. Are you clear? When you click on that, automatically you can see that on the right side. Yeah, this is the Solution Explorer. Okay, Mario? And now, in the Solution Explorer, this is your project. This is your project and this is your class. Right click on the project. If right click on the project, you'll find an option. What is that? Properties. Click on that. It opens you the project property window. We call this as a project property window. So, see, this is the project property window. For which project? For the first project, this is a project property window. And now, when this opens here, it will show you. What is that? Target framework. Specify the version of the .NET that the application targets. The option can have different values depending on which version of the .NET are installed on your computer. Whatever you install, I asked you to select all the checkboxes under .NET. Do you remember? And that is going to show you all the lists to you. And I am using the latest, that is 6. Suppose I select 5 here. If I select 5, I am selecting 5 here. If I select 5 here, and if I try to run this code, if I try to run this particular code, this feature will not work in 5.0, right? Yes or not? If I try to run this code, it will show you errors. It should show you the errors. Read it. Louder here. Ate breakfast, Ate breakfast or not? Louder. No energy at all. I did not still eat, guys. I'm shouting. Come on. It is telling you there are errors in the code. Shall I run the old one? What I'll do with the old one, yeah. Don't run this. And all of you be careful with this. When you get this, most of the people will do this. What you know? You will select this checkbox now. Don't show this dialog box again. And you will click on the yes button. And you are done. From now onwards, it won't show you any errors. And whenever there are errors in the code, without showing the errors, it will run the old code. And you don't know what is happening also. You will break your head to find out where is the mistake. So be careful. Don't select the checkbox. And don't click on the yes button. Warning you all very clearly. Understood? Okay? So next time it won't show you any errors at all. Without showing errors, it will show you old outputs. You don't see the errors, you will not see the new output also. So when it doesn't show you the errors, how do you fix the error? So click on the no button. And in the bottom, it will show you the error list. Error list. Actually, there are so many windows. We saw Solution Explorer now. Same way in the bottom, you have error list window. These all windows will have auto hiding. When I just move it, they will hide automatically. Again, I want to see the error list, come below. And just you click on Solution Explorer on the right. Click on the error list in the bottom. The error list pops out. See there. Feature. Data. Where? Please use language version 10 or greater. Understood my point or not? When you double click on that, it will show you the file under which the default imports are there. That is the file. You cannot directly see that here. There is a technique to open the file. That's what I shown you. That's all. Are you clear? Default that file is not visible to you. So change the version. Error will come. Double click on the error, then it will show you the file. Watch. Global imports. So what is imported? System is already imported or not? Yes. So same way, system.collections, system.io, system.link, system.net.http, system.threading, threading.task. All these are by default imported for you because these are all by default imported. I don't require to import these namespaces again in my code. Clear? Yes or not? Now, red line coming under all or not? Error. Why? C#9. Change the version now. How do you change? Go to, see here, all the files what you open will be listed for you here. You can navigate between them. Clear? All files are visible here. You can navigate between them. Come here. Change the version again. To C#6. Come back here. All errors are vanished. Watch. Okay now? All the errors are vanished here. You don't see any error at all because this feature works in C#6. Okay? So, sorry, not C#6, C#10. It is based on the runtime. You don't select C# versions. You select only runtime version. If you select .NET 6 means, that is C#10. If you select .NET 5 means, C#9. C#9. If I go with code 3.1, that is C#8. That is C#8. Okay now? So like this. I just given the chart for you in the notes, guys. In the notes I given the chart for you. In the previous pages, I'll show you. Before I started C#, in the document where we started C#, just above that you'll find. Check. 6x is C#10. 5x is 9. 3x, 8. 2x. And the last version supported in .NET Framework is 7.3 only. The last version supported with .NET Framework is 7.3. Above 7.3, if you want to use means compulsory, you require to use code only. Okay now? What is this, sir? Yesterday I showed you, when I opened the project, I showed you two types. One is .NET Framework. That is old outdated version which runs only on Windows. What is the latest? Core. That is .NET 6. .NET Core, .NET 6 both are same. I said, you remember? They removed the word core, that's all. So that nothing but .NET Core. If you use that only, you can use the latest. Means if you want to work with C#8 and above versions, you should compulsory work with .NET Core. The last version supported with the .NET Framework is C# 7.3. So the latest features what I am explaining you right now will not work if you open a framework project. They will work only if you open a core project. Okay now? So this is the list you can see there. Which version corresponds to what? What did not have? Oh, you answered this 5 minutes back. Huh? I don't know why you just said. Fine. So this is about the new feature what we just have right now in the code. Okay now? So we have some global imports as I explained to you. So these global imports will work for you. Yeah, in C# 10.0 there is a concept of global imports. That is, we don't require to write import statements in all the files as we have done in case of Notepad. We have done this in the case of Notepad now. Okay? By the help of using directive, we can now write all the import statements that are required in our project within a single file, prefixing the keyword global. Prefixing the keyword global so that they are applied to all classes in our project. Check out the syntax, guys. Global using namespace name. Global using system. Okay? And another point. By default, some namespaces are already imported for us. By default, some namespaces are already imported for us to consume in our project. Created under VS 2022 choosing .NET 6.0. Within the file, what is the file name say? Dot global using dot g.cs. The G represents global. The G there represents what? Global. And the contents of the file is as below. And the content of the file is as below. This is what? Already shown you guys. Understood now? Okay? Yeah. So this is how we just get the things there. So we can see all the, okay. We can see all the global imports in that file now. Okay. Fine. Now, how to run this code? How to run the code? Yesterday I showed you how to run the code. Control F5. You run the code by using the statement control F5. When you say control F5, it just runs the code. Launches you the developer command prompt. Launches you the command prompt and displays the output. Array. I did not open the command prompt till yesterday. I was opening command prompt manually. Today did I open? I opened Studio, that's all. Studio will launch you the command prompt and displays the output on the command window. It's going to launch the command prompt and displays the output. Actually, we can run in 3 ways, guys. One is control F5. Second one is F5. What is second one? F5. One is control F5. Second one is F5. Okay, all of you concentrate on the screen. Because the window will close up before you see the output only. Just put your concentration on that. This is F5. No control F5. Just F5. It will compile the project. Open the window. Before you see the output only, the window will close off. That is basically called F5. Means, actually, what is the difference between control F5 and F5 is, when I use control F5, it will show you a message on the screen. What is the message? You can press a key and close it. Okay, but if we use F5, it opens, displays the output and closes the screen immediately. We faced this problem in the C language also, do you remember? And to resolve this problem in the last line we used to write is get ch. In the last line we write, guys, get ch. So get ch will not allow waiting for the user input. Means the screen will wait for you for giving a input. Same way here also, we should write what? Console.readline. Now use F5. Now use F5. Holding up. But now you're not getting any message. You press any key to continue or something. That's the reference. I don't want to see that message, guys. I want to show only my output. I don't want to see any extra messages. In that case, we should use F5. But if you use F5, what is the problem? The window will close. If you don't want to allow to close, in the last line of the program, just like we have used get ch in our C programs, here use what? Console.readline. What is readline? Readline will wait for the input. Actually waiting for the input here. But should I give any input? No need here. Hit enter key to close off. Understood my point here? Just hit enter key to close off. That's all. Just use the readline statement in the bottom. It works to you. Okay, now. Third option. How you can run, multiple ways you can run. Control F5, F5. And other thing. Say, this is your studio. What is this? Menu bar, right? This is a menu bar. And what is this? Toolbar. This is a toolbar. Basically, it's called a standard toolbar. You'll have cut, copy, paste, save all this. This is what we call a standard toolbar. On the standard toolbar, you'll find an option with your project name. Can you see that? With a play button. With a play button. Hit that also, your project will run. This is also F5 only, not control F5. This is also F5 only, not control F5. Okay, this is the third option. Both way you can run like this. How you know? Go to debug menu. Go to, and here you'll find F5 and control F5. Both options are available there. Shortcut keys are used. What is that? F5, control F5. Any way you can run. But always, I cannot go to menus and select now. That's why shortcuts are going to be very important. Simple. F5 should run my code. That's all. Every time I can go to start menu, select all this, waste of time. The shortcut key is F5. Is it clear? Okay. You can run in any of the ways you like here now. Okay. So fine. That's what. See, to run the class, either hit Control plus F5 or go to debug menu and select the option start without debugging, which will save, compile and executes the program by displaying the output hello world on the console window. Because we opened a console application project. You open a console application project here, remember that. If you open a web application project, it will show the output on a browser. Do you understand me? If I open a web application project, it will show the output on a browser. You open a console application project, opens the and shows a console window, command window, console window. It depends upon the project you open. To close the console window, it will display a message. What message? Press any key to continue. So once we hit any key, it will close the window and takes us back to the studio. Are you clearer or not? Understood? Okay. See, here I mentioned you. If you are confused of writing the code without a class, if you are confused of writing the code without a class and main method, simply delete the whole code in the file and write the new code. If you are confused of this code, sir, I do not understand how to write this code, I am very confused with it. Confused, no matter, delete it. Delete this code. Follow your regular process. What is that? This is new for you. This line is new for you, okay now? Namespace, first project, internal class program. Guys, Visual Studio 2022 has AI, artificial intelligence. When you start typing, it will show you the things to you. Basically, that is artificial intelligence. In older versions, when you type C, you will get the list of options there. You will get the list there. We call this as IntelliSense. This is IntelliSense. When you type C, all the related things with C will come there. So you have an option, lesser typing work. What is that? Already console selected in the list now. Yes or not? Simply say dot. It writes. Now see, right in the list. How, sir? Frequently used. Array, I frequently use it. Simply open the brace. See guys, every day you used to type console dot write line. Today what I typed? C dot W. That's all. Are you clearer or not? Okay, I just simply typed C dot W. So this is the feature what we have in VS 2019 up to 2019. From 2022, they added your artificial intelligence, AI. You see now, it is also writing console.write line. Tab to accept. So simply what you require your tab key. That's all. You press the tab key, it will generate the code for you. That is new in 2022. AI, artificial intelligence. Based on your frequent usages, it will automatically show you the things to you. Clear or not? Okay. So first feature is intelligence. You see that intelligence in your Google Chrome search engine. In the Google search also you'll find now. When you type, you'll get it. That is called as intelligence. For example, I'm opening you a Google Chrome browser. I open the Google Chrome. What is that? Hotspot option. What is that? So here, if I try to type, I want to know something about Visual Studio downloading. Say automatically you will be getting up the options there now. We call this as intelligence. What is that? Intelligence. And many people think like, Google has designed it very beautifully. Google has came out with the intelligence and all. Most of the people don't know that. They think like Google has designed this intelligence. Google copied it from Microsoft here. Google copied it from Microsoft. Actually, Google added this feature in 2005. Microsoft had this feature in 90s only. Microsoft has added this feature in 90s only. In 90s, Microsoft has a language. Visual Basic. What is that? And to develop applications, they designed one editor. What is it? Visual Studio only. That Visual Studio only we are using today also. Advanced, latest. From that Visual Studio only intelligence was available, 90s. Google added this feature in 2005 in its website. But 90s only Microsoft has given intelligence to the industry. So most of the people who are not aware, they think like Google has introduced this concept. This is not designed by Google. This is designed by Microsoft only. Now, in the latest version of the studio, along with this intelligence, they added your AI also. Artificial intelligence also has been added. Okay now? Fine. Again. Console.readline. Console.readline. Just tab keys here. You will just record hit the tab keys. It will generate the things to you. Okay. Here I did not write anything. So let me write hello. What? Hello what? And run the code. F5 or control F5? What should I use? Both will work now. Both will work because I used a read line in the last. F5 and it runs. Okay, now, that's what I mentioned here, guys. What is this? What is it? If you are confused of writing the code without a class and main method, simply delete the whole code in the file and write the below code. Will you try that? Yes or not? Okay, you can just try up all the options to you. Okay, we can also run the class by hitting F5 or clicking on the first project button in the toolbar, or go to debug menu and select the option start debugging. All options are available. But in this case, it will save, compile and executes the program, but we cannot view the output because the console window gets closed immediately. The window gets closed immediately. And in this case, to view the output, we need to hold the console window, and to do that, use console.readline method after. Okay now, in the main method of the program. In the main method of the program, you just do that. Now also it will save, now also it will compile, all the things will happen now also. It will save. Okay, it will save, it will compile, and also it executes. But unfortunately, I can't see the output because the console window will be closed off immediately. The console window gets closed immediately. Okay? Fine. Are you clear till now? Yes or not? Okay. Now what I just wanted to do is, I wanted to, see, if you notice the code here, I did not write internal, did you notice? Even I don't write also, no problem, yeah, default is internal only. Understood me? Studio writes it, but for me it is not mandatory. If I don't write this also, that works. Now also, your code runs. Then also it is internal. Okay? So, now, the next thing what I'm going to show you is, sir, I have one class in the project. How can I add a new class? How can I add a new class in my project? I want a new class in the project now. Yeah, you can add any number of classes here, no problem at all. Any number of classes. Now, same. Open Solution Explorer. Open the, right click on the project. Right click on the project. Select the option, add. New item. What is item, sir? A project is a collection of items. A project is a collection of, and that item can be a class. The item can be a structure. The item can be an interface. Or you can add a HTML file, a CSS file, anything you can add. Watch it. When you click on the new item, it will show you a list of items. See, you can add all these things in your project. It opens one window. We call that as add new item window. And under that, it will show you the list of options. Sir, what are all these things? All these things are used in the application development. Going forward, we'll be working with different things in different places. But today, what you want? That's on the top. Select it. You want to give a name to the class? You can give. How? In the bottom, you'll find it. If you don't give a name, what is the default name? Class 1. The default name is class 1. No, sir, I want to give a name of my own. Give it, guys. No problem. You can give a name of your choice. Whatever name you wanted to give a name for that as per your requirements. Right now, I did not give any name. Okay, I'll have the same name, guys. It is class 1. Click on the add button. And you guys watch, a new class is added. See there? Is how it acts. Notice that? But do I need that using statements? It will auto-generate. But do I need the using statements? No need now. Why? Already we have global imports. Already we have global imports. It generates you this one. It generates you this one. Microsoft has made this mistake basically. But for new programmers to make it understandable, it writes it. For new programmers. But going forward, they will remove that particular option. They will remove, means by default, these imports will not come because already we have global imports. Why they did not do that? Because 10 came now only. People should be still adjusted with the new environment. Until people adjust with the new environment, you are always going to write using on the top. From 20 years I'm following the process. Suddenly you say don't write this mess. It's not easy to digest for me now. Are you getting my point or not? Because you have a problem, Human brain never accepts a change. You know that? Human brain never accepts a change. When I'm studying my masters, they said, I am not from computer background, I done my MBA. So when I'm doing my masters in the business administration, we have a subject called as customer psychology. So in that, we have a professor from Andhra University. I was a retired professor from Andhra University, very young and energetic. He was just 70. He was just 70 years. But the way he used to teach the class, the energy level, we are not able to match his energy. 70 years. Okay? And the way he taught of the subject, we cannot even, every student in the class cannot even match the energy what he has just asked. That's what I said to you, very young. Okay? That's what I'm telling you guys. You are 20s and behaving like 50s and 60s. He's 70 and very young and energetic. You are not active or lazy. Why this? Because you don't sleep properly in the night. That is your problem. So first to sleep properly. Minimum 7-8 hours. You don't sleep properly in the night and come to the classroom and sleep in the classroom. That's your problem. So just open up here. When you open your mouth, automatically you get the interest on the subject. If you sit silently, what you'll get is sleep only. Okay? So, he used to teach us the subject, customer psychology. The first point I never forget. Still in my 20 years back, I learned also, I don't forget this point. What do you know? Human brain never accepts a change. This is the point what he said. Everyone wants a change, but no one is ready to change. These 3 points never vanish from my brain. What was the point? Human brain never accepts a change. Everyone wants a change, but I am not ready to change. Did you get my point or not? See, is a very classical example for us also. Well, then, you stop at the signal, and you just go for jumping the signal, you jump the signal, but if anyone comes to you with a mic and a TV channel comes to your mic and just ask you, how do you think about the city traffic? You just say a lot of lectures to you. What is it? No one is following the rules. The police department is not following the rule. That one, this one. There are you right first? Are you using a helmet while driving your bike? Are you using a seat belt in your car? You don't follow the rules and you comment on the others. You don't have the right to talk at all. You don't have a right to talk. When the police stops you and puts a fine, 1,000 rupees fine he puts, what you do? You're putting 100 rupees in your hand and then going, you are corrupted first. And how you have a right to talk on him now? Yes or not? See, the same thing today in the social media, that's the thing what is going on. You don't have any right to talk about the politician is corrupted. First you are corrupted. Until people take money and vote, you don't have a right to speak about the corruption about the politician. Yes or not? You properly vote first. Then only you can ask the politician, you take your money without giving money, you don't vote. And then you don't have a right to speak about a politician also. First thing is change should come in you, not in others. So first thing is, you don't change. You want everyone to change. That is the problem in a human. Okay, that's what he said. Human psychology will never accept a change. No one is ready to accept a change. So same thing I'm telling you here. What is it? From 20 years of writing the code, I'm just going to be used with writing, using system, using all these things. Suddenly if I remove it, I cannot digest it. So for that reason, it was still giving you the particular options on the top. But going forward, we can expect all these things will be removed out in the later stages. But as of now, we have it and we don't require it also. So if you delete that also, code runs. You don't require them. You can just simply delete off the code. Okay, now. So when you add a class, guys, this is what it writes. So in the below select class template, specify a name to it in the bottom or leave the existing name and click on the add button, which adds the class under our project with the name class1.cs. Existing name, guys, I did not change. The new class we added also comes under the namespace. Which namespace? Past project. And we find the below code in it. We'll be finding the below code in it. Guys, this is what, guys, I very clearly given you everything with a screenshot also. So when you open it, this is what you get. And here in the Solution Explorer, right click on the project, select the option add new item. Add new item. And then it opens with this window called as add new item window. So as a class, I love the name, guys. What is that? If you want to change the name, change it. And click on the OK button. And this is what it has generated for you. This is what the code that has been generated. Okay now? Okay. First you have all the import statements. And below that, you have namespace. And by default, the class will have 5 import statements. Importing a set of namespaces. How many? 5. And these are not important for us now because in C#10 all the above namespaces except one thing here. One thing. Except system.text or global imports. So you can either delete them or leave them as the same. Delete off here. I just generally delete off to reduce the coding. Because all these things will count in the size of your project in the future. Don't forget that. Every statement you write will count the project size now. That's why I just generally delete them. Now under the class, write the below code. Writing the code. What is it? Come on here, let's write. Let's write. Static. Is syntax mandatory or optional? Leave it here. Leave it. Optional here. Just leave it. Console dot second class in the project. Second class in the project. And then console dot readline. Console dot readline. Just console dot readline. Now I want to run this code. How to run? F5. When I run F5, yeah guys, it's compiling the code. Errors guys, there are error in the code. Already shown you. Where sir, where do you have error? Error is showing under main. Can you guess what is the error? Not syntax. Syntax is not mandatory. Don't bother about syntax. It's not the error. Everything is perfect, la? Array, main is in Pascal case. All syntaxes are perfectly followed. No mistake at all. Still, why is it in error? The error now is, listen. Actually, till now in the notepad, you have written each class independently, individual classes. But today, all these classes are present under one project. There is a container. What is a container? Project, under the project. Now basically, Visual Studio, what it does is, Visual Studio will compile all these classes. Whenever it compiles, it is not going to compile each class. What did you done in Notepad here? You compiled each class individually, correct? But when you work with Visual Studio will not compile each class. Visual Studio compiles the whole project. A whole project will compile. And then if it is going to compile the whole project, it recognizes two main methods in the project. The two main methods are two entry points. Every main method is an entry point now. So what is the problem? The problem is multiple entry points are there here. Where should I start now? Did you catch my point or not? How many entry points are there? Two entry points. Where should I start? You have a machine that has two start buttons. You purchase a new machine, guys. You have two start buttons now. Now you are confused and you are worried to click on which button. You don't click any button now. Why you don't click? Which one should I click? Why did you get two buttons to me? 3, 4 start buttons are given. Are you not confused? If you have one start button, I'll click on it. When I have 4 start buttons, I'll call the customer care and ask, there are 4 start buttons here. Which one should I click now? So same confusion. Multiple entry points recognized. So where to start the execution from is a big confusion for the Visual Studio now. And that's the reason why it is throwing you an error. So if you put your mouse there, it will tell you, what is that? More than one entry point defined. That is the problem. So how to resolve this problem now? How can I resolve? To resolve this problem, what is the confusion for Visual Studio? Visual Studio confusion is where to start from. Yes or not? Okay. Now see, you're confused. 4 start buttons are there, you're confused. So you open the manual now. You open the machine manual. In the machine manual, clearly specified. Click on the 3rd button. Then you don't have a confusion. You click on the 3rd start button to start now. Yes or not? So exactly same problem. Visual Studio is a confusion. What confusion? Where to start from? So let us tell to Visual Studio now. Let us tell to Visual Studio what? Where to start from. If I tell to Visual Studio where to start from, without any confusion, Visual Studio starts from that place now. Okay, how can you tell that, sir? How can we tell that? Watch. Again, open the Solution Explorer. Again, open the Solution Explorer. Okay, after opening the Solution Explorer again, what you do is, double click on the project. Double click on the project. When you double click on the project, it opens a file and that is called project file. We call that as a project file. This is called as a project file. All of you, observe it. The extension of the file is csharp C sharp project. That is the extension of the file. Okay, you should be familiar with all these things here. Going forward, every day you will work with all the files, sir. Okay, what is the file? csharp C sharp project. Suppose actual language is C sharp now. Tomorrow if you select a language called VB, the file name is VB. This is how you can recognize whether this is a C sharp project or VB project. That's how to recognize. Under that, you will be having some code. Under that, you will be having some code in XML format. This is called XML actually. This will be in the XML format. And in this, you will be finding some information. You will be finding some information. Okay, just look at this. What is this? What should be the type of output? The type of output is a .exe. Remember here, you compiled a .csv, .exe file generated. Understood? What is the second one? What is the target framework you are using? Which target framework are you using? .NET 6. Third one. Implicit using. We are using that feature now. Implicit using. I did not try to using. Because it is implicit using enabled. Global imports. What is that? Global imports. Implicit using. Fourth one. Nullable. What is nullable? What is nullable is? Guys, do you remember this one? Nullable value types. I already explained you. About nullable value types. By default, tell me, is this valid? This is invalid. We already learned about this particular statement. This is invalid. By default, you cannot assign null values to value types. You can assign it only to reference types. How to assign null value? This is valid. And I already explained that this is a feature added in C sharp 2.0. Yes or not? Now tell me, value types are two types now. Value types are two options. What is it? Nullable, non-nullable also. Nullable is also there. First one is nullable or non-nullable? First one is non-nullable, means you can restrict. The second one, nullable. But when you come to reference types now, string s is equals to null. Valid or invalid? Tell me. Valid. Means strings are nullable. Means when you come to strings, we don't have two options. By default, strings are nullable. We don't have non-nullable strings. Did you get my point? I don't want null value to be assigned to a string. I don't want null value to be assigned to a strings, but strings are nullable. We cannot restrict this. And to resolve this particular problem, in C sharp 8, they introduced a concept called as non-nullable reference types. What is that? Non-nullable reference types. Earlier what I said, you nullable value types. Because value types are non-nullable. Opposite? Non-nullable. Now reference types are nullable or not nullable? By default. By default reference types are nullable. By default reference types are nullable. So what we got now? Non-nullable reference types. Non-nullable reference types are introduced for you in C sharp 8. Okay? So basically, that's what. See, nullable enable. When I say nullable enable, what happens, Suppose, okay, I will just talk about this. Meanwhile, first let me tell you how to run this class. First let me tell you, I'll explain about non-nullable, how to run this class. When you open this, here you need to add this, guys. What Start the object and tell the class name you want it to run. Which class you want to run? Class 1 or programmer? Class 1 or programmer? Class 1 program you already executed now. Why you want to run program again now? What you want to run is the new class. That is class 1. Specify that. How? Run the code. Executed, no error. Okay now? And I want to run the program class again, sir. You want to run the program class, come here and tell program. Now understood, whatever class you wanted to run, you required to specify in that file. Whatever class you wanted to run, you required to specify in that particular file. So every day you will work with this file, and here you specify the class you wanted to run. Which class you wanted to run? You will be specifying here, class 1, and it is going to Are you clearer? Okay. So basically, yeah. Now see, I want to declare a string here. String str is equals to null. String str is equals to null. When I say string str is equals to null, it's a warning now. What is that? No, not that. Just a second. We'll declare it as a field. Hold on. Not that error. See the warning. Cannot convert null to. We have non-nullable reference types now. What do we have? Non-nullable reference types. So by default, the strings are also non-nullable now. By default, strings are also non-nullable now. If you try to assign a null value, you won't get error, but you get a warning message. Why is that? Because in the project file, it was specified a nullable enable. That feature is enabled. I'll change this here. What did I change? And come to my class. And now when you come to my class, when I just come to my particular class here, not compile. Now you can just declare it like this, the question mark. What do you put? Question mark. Now see, when I put null, no error there. Now you have two options now. What do you do? Nullable, non-nullable. Nullable and non-nullable. But if you come back here, enable this. Error won't come, guys. That's what I'm telling you. Error won't come. What you get is only warnings. Warnings will come. You will get only warnings here. So the feature is, okay, even I remove this also by default is enabled. The feature when I use enable here, okay, by default reference types are also non-nullable. If you want them to be nullable, you are required to use question mark. If you remove question mark, again, that's a warning. See there. Are you clear? So up to C#8, reference types are by default nullable. But from C#8 onwards, reference types are also by default non-nullable. If you want to make it nullable, what you need to do? You are required to suffix a question mark and declare it. Understood or not? So, am I clear? So, we have two types of value types now. Nullable value types. Now from C#8 onwards, we have two types of reference types also. Nullable reference types, non-nullable reference types. But one thing they control is, they don't give errors. What you get is only warnings. Errors won't come, guys. Only warnings will come. That is enabled. And here, I just been explained about each and everything what is present there. See, under the project file, by default we find the below code. Okay now? And here, I given you the information about each and everything to you. Just a second there. Just a second. Each and everything I have listed, what is the use of it, and why should I use it. Read. What is the first option? Output type element is used to specify the generated output file after compilation of the project will be having an .exe extension. Another type of extension is also supported, guys, .dll. What is that? .dll. I'll show you that also in the later classes. But now we are using what? exe. Next. Target framework element is used to specify the .NET runtime version we are using to build a project, and currently we are using the latest version .NET, that is .NET 6, and in this version of runtime, C# version is 10.0, same as if we use a .NET 5, then the C# version is 9, and if we use a .NET Core 3.1, then C# version is 8. I already shown you the chapter to you. Next. Already explained you about that. Already I explained you about that, guys. Next. Nullable element is used to enable a new feature. Non-nullable reference types, which was introduced in C# 8.0. By default, reference types are nullable, but we can make them non-nullable by enabling the nullable feature in the project file. So when we assign a null value to them, we get a warning. But if we really want to assign a null value, if we really want to assign a null value to them, we need to declare them by suffixing with a question mark. For example, string question mark and object question mark. If you want to disable the feature of reference types not accepting null values, by default, change the value, enable as disable under the nullable element of the project. Okay. By default, it is typed as B default. Okay, next. Yeah, guys, when you compile the project, what happened? By default, when you compile the project, now what happened? Read this. We get an error stating that there are containing a main method, and every main method is an entry point. To resolve the problem, we need to set a property. What is the property? And we need to set open. Right click on project, select the option, edit project file, which opens an XML file with the name. First project add it to the document window in the Visual Studio. We can also open the .csproj file by double clicking on the project. Alright, double click here. If you double click, it opens to you. Okay? When you double click, it opens to you. And this is the correct coordinate. And after that, we have just been setting up the startup object. To set the startup object property, add startup object element within the project group. Means it should look like this, guys. Are you clear? It should look like this for you now. Okay? Follow the same process to run new classes added in the project. So whenever you add a new class, always you'll be following the same process, remember. We'll be following the same process every day to add new and new classes. We'll follow exactly the same thing. You can have n number of classes. Every time we follow the same thing only. Startup object and run that class. Any confusions? Understood about the elements? We'll talk about more things, guys. What here right now I explained about output file, target framework, but still other attributes are there. I will explain you them in the going forward. Today we have learned about a new attribute. What is it? Startup object. This is a startup object. This is to tell the compiler where to run from. So now see, I'll add another class. One more class. Add. You can add new item I selected now. Directly you can have an add class also. Now also same window opens here. By default class is selected, that's all. And add new item is it opens, you need to select the class. Add class means by default class selected. Name class 2. Name is class 2. Static void main. Next. Console dot right line. Second class in first project. Console dot. If I run this again, what class will run? Class. Sorry, this is not the second class, no? Third class. So what will run? Second class will run, but this class won't run. Why? You set the startup object, a second class. What to do? Go to the project file and simply make it as class 2. Run the code. And now be careful. Watch. All files are added here. Yes or not? All files are added here. Basically, when you add a new file, the new file will always add in the left. When you add a new file, the new file will always add in the left. So originally, this is how it adds. First I open program. Afterwards, project file. Afterwards, class 1. Next, in that sequence. So what happens if new items will come? These items will go to the right. And once it reaches the corner, it will be removing him. Did you get my point or not? The space not sufficient. What it will do here? Old will be removed of buffer. If the old one is removed, your project file will be hidden for you. Old one removed, your project file will be hidden for you. You can't see that. To resolve it, here you will have a pin button here. Okay? Click that. If you click that, that will come and sit on the first. So now, when you add new things, like this also we can add new items here. Like this also we can add new items. That option not available here. What does it say? You can click here and also add. In the toolbar you have that option here. You can click and add. See, I'm adding class 3. Class 3 is not added in the corner. That is left in the corner. See, this is not moving. The remaining files only will move. Okay now. So that this file will be always available for you in the left hand side. So that every time you can come there and you can edit the file. Okay. So try working with Visual Studio, guys. Read the notes carefully. Try working with Visual Studio. From tomorrow, we'll start with object-oriented programming. Is that clear? So for tomorrow, we are jumping into the main part. That's really the important thing. Object-oriented programming. All our applications are object-oriented. What is that object-oriented? We'll learn from tomorrow onwards. That topic will be tomorrow. No, you cannot add. If you add 2 types, again there is confusion only now. There is again confusion now. 2 times you add startup object. Confusion again.
Recording stopped.
ఏం ఎర్రర్ వచ్చింది? ఇండెక్స్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ బౌండ్స్. ఇండెక్స్ మిస్ మ్యాచ్ అవుతుంది. మీరు తప్పు రాశారు కోడ్. ఇప్పుడు ఎప్పుడన్నా ఇండెక్స్ అరే సైజ్ కన్నా ఎక్కువ అయింది అనుకో, ఎర్రర్ వస్తుంది. మీ కోడ్ తప్పుంది. కంపైల్ టైం ఎందుకు చూపిస్తుంది? కంపైలర్ ఏం చెక్ చేస్తుంది? సింటాక్స్ కరెక్ట్ గా ఉందో లేదో చెక్ చేస్తుంది. కానీ కంపైలర్ ఎందుకు కోడ్ లో ఎర్రర్ లాజిక్ ఎందుకు చెక్ చేస్తుంది? లాజిక్ చెక్ చేయదు ఎప్పుడు. కంపైలర్ చెక్ చేసేది ఎప్పుడు సింటాక్సెస్. ఓకే.